And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this third segment, I'm going to be talking about teams that have the best chances of being a playoff team or the best chances or the chances of them being a draft lottery team. And I'm just doing the teams that made the play-in for last season. So if there's any team that you would like me to do next, just let me know and I'll do them. But this is mainly going to be play-in teams. So, starting off the list, the 76ers. Obviously, they're going to be a team that's going to be contending. I shouldn't have to really explain why. Acquiring Paul George, having Joel Embiid, and also having Tyrese is really going to push your team into that contending category. And again, my prediction for this team, easy playoff team, makes zero sense for them not being a playoff team. So, next team on this list is, again, this is in no particular order. I'm going to be talking about the Bulls. They're another team that have I think they're going to be a lottery team. I think they're going to be a team that's going to work on rebuilding this time. They have a 2025 first round pick owed to them by San Antonio, and it's top 10. And that's the real hope that they have of doing damage in the draft. The rest of the draft, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to, the rest of the players that they have, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to make the play-in this season. And I also think that maybe this will be the year where they finally be able to make a deal for Zach LaVine. And Chicago, I think they're finally going to be able to make the trade, and they won't be able to give up draft equity, though, and they're going to have to remove the remaining 3 years and $138 million left on his contract to some other players. And ideally, Vucevic is also going to, get traded as well, especially, with the fact that the experiment with DeMar, Alex Caruso, and Zach LaVine, considering how that didn't work, I'm pretty sure that this team is going to be a lottery team. Next, the Atlanta Hawks. They have Trae Young still. They also ended up getting the number one pick in the NBA draft. It's easier to see an improvement than a decline from each of the teams Miami, Philly, Indiana, Orlando, Cleveland, Milwaukee, New York, and Boston. All 8 of the teams finished with at least 10 or more wins than the Hawks in this season. So seeing the Hawks really dramatically improving compared to a lot of these teams isn't, especially after losing DeJounte Murray and not really gaining much in return, it's not really that feasible, I guess you could say. And if the Hawks keep on pace with the 8 teams that finished ahead of them last season, they could pursue future-focused trades, and Atlanta could end up dealing away Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter, and any other vet who doesn't project as strong supporting pieces for the next iteration of the Atlanta Hawks. Again, they have Trae Young, they have that number one guard. As much as people want to see Trae Young get traded, I don't think the Hawks are going to do that. I think they're really going to try and build a really good team around him. He's already the Atlanta Hawks leader in assists for the total franchise. So again, very, very impressive. And next team on this list is the Miami Heat. Now they're, after this year, I have a feeling that they're going to end up losing Jimmy in free agency. And I don't think Jimmy is going to end up re-signing for Miami unless, again, they give him a lot of money. But aside from that, I still think that Miami is going to be a playoff team in this final year having Jimmy Butler. I think, despite the fact that this might be Jimmy's final year, they're going to make a statement in the Eastern Conference. And again, despite the fact that they were a play-in team, it's you sort of knew that they were going to make the postseason. They were also able to snag a win against the Boston Celtics, who were the best team in the entire NBA and in the entire postseason. They were able to beat the Hawks, they were able to beat the Bulls, they were able to beat the Raptors, they were able to beat the Hornets, and anyone else trying to get the 7th or the 8th seeds in the postseason. They're the team that's most likely going to be to win in all of those matchups. Now, hold on, let me just go ahead and change the screen real quick. There we go. And next team on this list is the Pelicans. Now, they are a team that ended up getting better in this offseason. They acquired DeJounte Murray to pair him up with CJ McCollum. They still got Brandon Ingram. They still have Zion. Zion also apparently slimmed down like a lot. So a lot of people were concerned on, his health and just how much he has been consuming, I guess you could say. And a lot of people were concerned on whether or not he would actually be in a good enough shape to compete early in this season, and it doesn't really look like that's going to be a problem now. I think this team, easy contenders. I think it's easy that they're going to make the postseason. It makes total sense. This is arguably, one of the best teams that they have in this season. I mean, we just have to see how the pairing with DeJounte and CJ McCollum is going to work. If they are able to get that chemistry down, and if they're able to pair that up with Zion scoring and Brandon Ingram scoring, then it's going to be a pretty dangerous team. And I really, hopes are high for this team. Next team on this list is, again, the Los Angeles Lakers, and I might as well go ahead and show the Lakers off because, they were a play-in team, and there are a lot of reasons to believe that the Lakers are going to be better than they were a year ago. There's also a lot of reason to believe that they aren't going to be better than they were a year ago. One of the biggest reasons is LeBron, just how much he has left in the tank. Considering how good he played in the Olympics, I think he has a lot left. And the Lakers, they don't have that much of a talent advantage against anyone when James and Davis misses a game. Like, when they both miss a game, it's like, you're definitely going to lose. And it's like you're asking for trouble if you're sitting both of them out. Now, it's also uncertain if JJ Redick is going to be a good acquisition in the head coaching department. But, this team, I mean, they got LeBron. It's like, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, come on. It's LeBron. It's like, LeBron has seen worse. I mean, it's definitely not looking good for him out there, but it's definitely like you could argue that it's not the worst situation that he's been in. Again, would rather see him in a better one, but I digress. Next team on this list is the Sacramento Kings. They were a play-in team last season, and I expect them to be a little bit better this year than they were last year. Acquiring DeMar DeRozan is going to definitely do that for the squad. I predict they're going to be an easy contender for the playoffs. I don't think they're going to need to play any play-in games to make the playoffs for this season. And, I think they're going to be in that, a third seed, I think. I think that's a pretty reasonable spot to put them in. Memphis is probably going to be the team that they're going to, if they were to go into play-in, I would expect them to play the Memphis Grizzlies. I think that would be a really nice matchup to see. And finally, Golden State Warriors. I think they're another team that is going to be in the draft lottery. And, they do have Steph, so I wouldn't really count them out just yet, but for the most part, I'm counting them out. I mean, I'm sorry, this team doesn't have Klay Thompson. I don't think they're going to be the same dangerous team that we've all feared for so many years. But again, I could be totally wrong. This is Steph Curry. He's still on the team, so maybe he just completely shocks everyone and they make the postseason out of a miracle. But aside from that, I don't think they're going to make the postseason. I think they're going to rebuild, and I don't think Steph is going to want to be a part of that. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and go into a short break and then go into the fourth segment where I talk about Magic criticizing Anthony Edwards and his comments that he made about Michael Jordan being the only player with skill back in the day. So I'll be right back after this short break in regards to those comments.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.